Does the Bible teach that God himself, the God of the Bible, came and destroyed the perfect, beautiful, fantastic earth? And did he do it in a spaceship? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Welcome to the Christian Whistleblower channel. We're coming to you live from an undisclosed location, somewhere deep in the heartland of America, from the heartland of your heart. At least that's the hope. So did God destroy the earth with a spaceship? That's our question today. And on the face of it, it sounds almost ridiculous. It sounds almost just stupid. And if you're new to this channel, you're probably thinking, what the heck is this guy talking about? Well, it really is as easy as 1, 2, 3, ladies and gentlemen. Genesis chapter 1. Verses 1 and 2, and you don't even get to 3. It's really as easy as 1, 2. So we're going to look at this, and this was inspired, or I was pushed to do this yesterday. I was on the Tinfoil Hat podcast with, I almost said evangelist, and he is in some ways, but he's a comedian, Sam Tripoli. If you haven't watched the Tinfoil Hat podcast, you want to go ahead and check it out. Sam Tripoli is the YouTube channel. And he'll have that up, I know, within a few days. It was recorded yesterday, and it looks like he does a podcast about once a week on the for the Tinfoil Hat. Funny comedian and just an amazing show. Probably the most organic, unrehearsed, just a couple guys talking podcast that I've done. Got a little fired up, got Sam fired up. We had a great time. It was a lot of good fun, and a tremendous amount of good truth came out of it. And it's so nice to actually see someone that hasn't heard this stuff before, that's open to truth, and to have them just say, no way. And just to get that reaction of someone that really has an interest and someone that really cares is awesome. In fact, I'm probably going to go to St. Louis here in a few days and catch Sam's show and hang out with them a little bit, because it was that profound. And I hope that you'll keep your eye out for that. A great last stand last night with astrologist Jeff Harmon. Fantastic stuff. I mean, really, really powerful. And I hope that you'll check that out as well. Of course, Rocky and I are nationally syndicated on Shut Up and Listen. I see Rocky in the chat room. We've got a live event coming up in Minnesota that may get some sponsorship from a widely known company that works within the paranormal and alternative realms. I can't announce that quite yet, but we can get about 70 people in there up in Minnesota. We're going to start today. I think a little bit later, we'll really start advertising it, really start pushing it. We want to pack that place out. It's a haunted bar and grill. We're going to do, a live show from there. Maybe we'll do a couple other things as well, but we want to get that place up there full. So if you're in the area anywhere in Wisconsin, Minnesota, hey, look, I'm driving like 6 hours to get there. So what's up? Can't you just drive? Come on. Did you like the face, Rocky, a little bit? But come on, you can drive up there. Come on up and be with the boys and the girls and have a good time. We've got something else coming up again in October. And then we're going to get on some airplanes. We're going to go down to Puerto Rico and help with Puerto Rico Strong, ladies and gentlemen. So we're looking a lot of great stuff coming up. So let's talk about the God of the Bible destroying the earth with a spaceship. And Sam asked me to talk about reptilian gods. And when I first studied this years ago, I thought that it was probably pretty clear that Yahweh was a dragon. It's not even really Yahweh, but the God of the Bible who stole the name Yahweh, that he's a dragon, and he might be a dragon, and you'll see why I thought he was a dragon. But there's also a possibility that the writer of Genesis, and you got to remember, if I'm being polite, I'll say that the Bible writers borrowed liberally from other sources. If I'm being realistic, I'll say they plagiarized the hell out of other sources. So the Bible itself, especially the Old Testament in this regard, no, that's not true. The whole thing is absolute hijacked, plagiarized from many, many different religions and epics that went before it. So was he a dragon? Well, literally, it looks like he was a dragon, and he might be a dragon. It's possible. I've never seen Game of Thrones, so don't go down that road with me. You'll be disappointed. But is it also possible that a mind, and was this written 2,000 years ago? No, maybe. We don't even know anything about history. I was listening to some podcasts yesterday. Craziness. We've got Paladin coming up on The Last Stand. We've got Elizabeth April coming up on The Last Stand. We've got, who do we got? We got Micah Hanks coming up on The Last Stand. We've got an incredible lineup. Ken Schwartz. I'm trying to think of who else is coming. Haven't forgot your name because I don't care. It's just I put all this together in the last few days. So we're booked all the way through into September. So it's going to be some crazy, powerful, amazing stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So was it a guy 6, 8, 10,000 years ago looking up in the sky trying to describe something that he saw? And the only thing that he could put it into a frame of words would be a dragon. I don't know. Let's take a look. And we're going to look. And I may have to do you talk about writing a book. Nobody reads books anymore. So I wonder if it's even worth writing a book. But I might do like an ebook and a seminar, something along the lines of the Bible says what? And just start at the beginning and go through the crazy things that the Bible says that nobody knows it says, even though it's right in the plain text. And remember, the text doesn't care what you think, doesn't care what you've been taught, doesn't care what you believe. The text is the text. And I'll give you just a little bit of a preview to this as we go through. We're only going to go through 2 verses, don't worry. So in the beginning, God. This would be the first thing in the book of the Bible says, what? The first thing would be God. In the beginning, God, because we think Charlton Heston, we think gray hair, long beard, robe, cranky, sitting on a mountain. It's a God. It's a one guy, right? One God. He's God. He's the only God. He's the only real God. Hear, O people, the God, your Lord, your God is one God. Besides him, there's nothing else. But it's funny because if you read the Bible itself, the text, remember, this is how it works. The Bible is written in, well, I didn't want to do that. Let me do this. The Bible is written, ladies and gentlemen, in Hebrew. The Old Testament is written in Hebrew, ladies and gentlemen, okay? The Old Testament's written in Hebrew. Let me get back out to where I can do what I want to do. It's translated for us into English. So it's written in Hebrew. It's translated into English. And why doesn't this damn thing want to work for me? Well, we'll go a different direction. Here we go. So this is what it really looks like. It's written in Hebrew, and it's written because it's Hebrew right to left. Very few of you can read that. I used to be able to read it a little bit back when I got out of Bible college, but that's Hebrew. And when you just look at the translation into English from Hebrew, you're like, oh, okay, well, they're learned. They're scholars. They must know what they're talking about. But if you can look at it here, you can look at here's the Hebrew word, but here's the Hebrew word in English or, put in English characters. And then it shows here literally what it means. So in the beginning, created God the heavens and the earth. Okay, well, Jeff, what's the big deal? Well, here's the big deal because you can also go deeper. You can say, oh, okay, this word is number 430. It's in something called the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. Not necessarily that you know that. But if you want to know what Elohim really means, because here they just said, in the beginning, God. Yeah, one God. We know that guy. But if you click on the word, it shows you what the word really means. You go down here and your first thing is plural. What? What do you mean plural? And then you go down and you read what the word means. Divine being, gods, goddesses. What? And then you go down plural in number. Wait a second. We're 4 words into the Bible, and now we know it wasn't just one dude, but it was some dudes and chicks, that there's more than one God. There's gods and there's goddesses. They're plural in number. There's more than one. Wow. So in the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth. And then your next problem is now the earth was formless and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. I'm saying, wait a second. I know what gods do, and I know gods are powerful. Gods are strong. Gods are mighty. Goddesses are strong. Goddesses are powerful. Goddesses are mighty. Thank you, Unified Field. And when they create stuff, And they create stuff looking good. They create stuff looking right. They create stuff looking powerful. They create stuff perfectly. And the prophet Isaiah said, let me show you something again. This says that the earth, ladies and gentlemen, in the beginning, the gods and goddesses created the heavens and the earth. Perfect. And they created it, and I'm going to show you beautifully. They created it perfectly. They created it without fault. You know, if it was President Trump saying, he'd say, believe you me, the gods created a great earth, a pretty earth, a powerful earth. Trust me, it was a beautiful earth. And it was. They created a beautiful earth. And then the earth was formless and void. And I'm here to tell you that they created it perfect and it became without form and void. Okay, Jeff, how are you going to prove that? Well, again, remember the God verse? Well, watch this. Now the earth was. Says right there, Jeff, it was formless and void. Really? Well, what it really says is the earth became without form and void. It came to pass that the earth was without form and void. It fell out that the earth became without form and void. It came to pass, it became 85 times, came to be 358 times. So somebody's trying to hide something from you. In the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth. They created it perfect, beautiful. It was huge, and it was great big league. And something happened where it became without form and void. And do you see these words right here? Tohu. Well, in the book of Isaiah, should I show you? Thank you, Bellstar. Should I show you or should I make you look it up yourself? Should I show you or should I make you look it up yourself? I think that I will be nice and I will show you. Give me just 1 second. The earth was not created in vain. Watch this. It's Isaiah 45:18. And this is going to blow your mind even more. Because remember, we just showed you, and I'll show you this time. I know I missed it last time. Sorry. We just showed you that the earth was created by the heavens, by the gods. I say it was created perfectly. And then it became, the word was, means became formless. The word is formless. Tohu, right? It became that way. Well, Jeff, how do you know it became that way? Because Isaiah said in Isaiah 45:18, he did not create the earth to be empty. Guess what that word is right there? Take a guess what that word is. He did not create it empty. Guess what that word is? Boom, it's tohu. What are you going to do with that? I bet you wish it was tofu and not tohu, then it wouldn't bother you so much. But it's tohu. So you tell me, Christians, the Bible is perfect, no contradiction. Every jot, every tittle, every line, every promise in the book is mine. Well, every problem in the book is yours too, cousin, because if the earth was formless and void in the beginning, if it was tohu, and Isaiah said it wasn't made tohu, who's wrong? Did the writer of Genesis get it wrong when he said it was tohu? Or did Isaiah get it wrong when he says it was not tohu? Because Isaiah said he did not create it tohu. But Genesis said he did create it tohu. Who's wrong? Well, neither one of them is wrong. But if you want to believe your Bible the way you believe your Bible, then you got a problem, cousin. You got some splaining to do. But if you understand that the earth was created perfectly and it became without form and void, and oh yeah, Isaiah also tells you that. He says he created it. He who created the earth, the heavens and the earth, he formed the earth and fashioned it. He established it. He formed it to be inhabited. When they made it, it was what? It was inhabited. There were people dwelling there. There were people on the earth. Oh, what? You don't believe that one either? Well, let me show you just one more thing. Let me show you just one more thing that will show you that it was inhabited. And this gets to where we need to go anyway. So watch this. Blowing minds all over the world right here in real time. And this is not really a Bible study. This is to show you that you've been sold a bill of goods, a pig and a poke, and they're laughing at you. It's time to wake up and realize, smell the coffee, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Jeremiah, I looked at the earth and lo, it was without form and void. Remember? It was without form and void. Only two places in the Bible you see that. Genesis 1, it was without form and void. In the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth. The earth was inhabited. It became without form and void. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. It became without form and void. The heavens, they had no light, Jeremiah says. Well, if they had never created light yet, then why would it be remarkable that there was no light? Obviously, there was light. I beheld there was no man. Well, duh. If man hadn't been created yet, then it wouldn't be a surprise. But the problem is it was a surprise because Jeremiah says there was some dudes and some dudettes, but they were gone. Where was the birds? There were birds. The birds are gone. The fruitful place has become a wilderness. The cities. There were cities, ladies and gentlemen. In the Genesis 1:1 earth that the gods and goddesses created, there was men. There were women. There were birds. There was beautiful vegetation. There were cities. And to have more than one city, you got to have enough people to fill more than one city. All of that stuff was there. See, we're already like 80 pages into the Bible says what book, and we're, only been 16 minutes here. So wrapping it up so far, in the beginning, the gods and goddesses created the heavens and the earth. They created them beautiful, perfect, nice, wonderful. Then the earth became without form and void. And something was wrong, cousin. It became without form and void. What caused the earth to become without form and void? What caused the light to be blacked out? What caused the men to die? What caused the birds to die? What caused the fruitful place to become a wilderness? What caused the cities to be broken down? It was the presence of this being, the God of the Bible, and his fierce anger. The Lord said the whole land's going to be desolate. So let's look at this. Who did it? Well, there's no doubt the Lord did it. The Lord is the proper name of the God of the Bible, the God of Israel. That's the Lord, the God you worship, the God of the Bible. He's the one that did it. He did it. He's the one that did what? He's the one that pulled it down. He's the one that broke it down. He's the one that broke down, demolished, destroyed, raised, smashed, tear down, tore down. He's the one that did that to the earth that had cities, men, women, birds, trees, all that good stuff. He tore them down. Who? The Lord. And how did he do it? He did it with fierce, fiery, burning anger. Now watch this. This is why I thought for a while that he was a dragon. I don't think he's a dragon anymore. Might be, but I think there's more to it. Could be a dragon. I'm not saying he's not a dragon. Although if I got pushed into a corner, thank you again, I would say probably not a dragon, and you'll see why in just a minute. But he had burning, fiery anger. Burning, fiery anger. Well, Jeff, that doesn't mean he was a dragon, but watch this. Burning, fiery anger. And watch this word. Blown through his nostrils, his nose, his face. So he had burning, fiery anger coming through his nostrils. So what do you think of that's got burning, fiery anger blowing through its nostrils? Burning, fiery anger blowing through its nostrils, destroying cities, killing men, killing women, killing birds, killing plants. Sounds like a dragon. and I've always thought it was a dragon. But now I'm wondering, because I know about the New Testament and the UFO, ET, alien agenda that's woven all throughout the New Testament. I know about that. And when I look now and I read that it was his fiery anger blown through his nostrils, I begin to think, because of this other verse I discovered, and I forget who sent it to me. It might have been Nigel or somebody else. Is it a dragon, or is it somebody metaphorically trying to show us a dragon? Here's what I mean. And let me go to give you the full understanding. Let's go to the King James for a second. In the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth, and they were beautiful, and they were perfect, and they were nice. And then the earth became without form and void, darkness upon the face of the deep. And we know that that happened because the Lord got ticked off, and with his fiery wrath blown through nostrils, he destroyed everything. And then check this out. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. This is where I started saying, let me think about this, because somebody reminded me of what the Hebrew words mean here. And the Spirit of God, okay, the wind of God. Think about, picture in your mind, and we're just conjecturing here together. Picture in your mind all of this wrath, all of this destruction, everything's blown to hell. Here's this wind. Here's this wind. This wind of what? This wind of this God. This wind of this God who was at that time an Elohim. The wind of this God was hovering above the face of the waters, fluttering, moving, shaking, just hanging out over the face of the waters, almost as if it was surveying the damage, that it had done. It was hovering over the surface, over the face of the waters, because evidently it destroyed everything, messed it all up, and the waters rose up. And I think the book of Revelation happened in between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2, and I'm working on proving that to you as well. But it's possible, ladies and gentlemen, that he was a dragon and that he blew fiery wrath through his nostrils. It's also possible that the wind of God from a ship that was hovering over the surface of the waters was blowing around, and it was this ship that spewed fire out of itself and destroyed everything, and the person that wrote it couldn't think of anything to identify itself with, identify what they saw, so they used the only thing they could think of, which was a dragon. And if you listen to any of my work on Revelation 19, where supposedly Jesus comes back, it's clearly a spaceship that he's coming back in. And of course, the question is, what does God need with a starship? But yet, he's using one in Revelation. Does context force us to at least consider, and I say yes, that he used one in Genesis as well? Either way, we know that in the beginning, it wasn't just one God, it was gods and goddesses. Either way, we know they created a beautiful, perfect earth. Either way, we know that the God of the Bible got mad and destroyed that earth, killing who knows how many people, birds, plants, trees. And whether he was a dragon and did it by blowing fiery through his nostrils, as Jeremiah tries to tell us, or if it was done and accomplished through a spaceship like in Revelation 19 that spewed out fire, and he was hovering in his craft over the surface, surveying the damage that he'd done, probably pleasuring himself in the cockpit. Which way was it? Don't really know which way it was. Either way, he's a rat bastard. Either way, he destroyed this earth. Either way, he's the bad guy. And either way, if you believe in the Bible 100%, you got some splaining to do, Lucy. You got some splaining to do. Wow. And it only took 24 minutes. Let's go to the chat room. I've been here 25 minutes. It is the 15th of August, Roger Rabbit. The event is in Hastings, Minnesota, I believe. Michelle Hinman. Nice to see Roger Rabbit. Nice to see Macabre Menace, who is Sterling. Nice to see Michelle Hinman. Nice to see Tracy Dyer. Nice to see King of Kings. Nice to see Terry. Nice to see Rocky Stucci. Hart Walker. Nice to see Mark Valad. Nice to see Gabriel Michelson, who says, Mahabharata in Vedic scriptures was a worldwide battle between good and evil. All the ruins in the world were destroyed during this war. Now this is the age of Kali Yuga, and we've lost the truth. That's interesting, Gabriel. Thank you for sharing that. Nigel Worsley says, we live in a theme park, Disneyland on steroids. Hard to debate that. None your business says, good topic. Who is this Yahweh character? Well, now you know. Rocky, I'm just waiting for that. Mac, Macabre says it's just a dirty-bellied lizard. Might be. Zenyatta McYahweh says that all religions are LARP playbooks for secret societies. I can go along with that. Material Classified laughs out loud. Shez61, hello to you in the UK. Charla E, nice to see you. Demented One with a silly comment, but we have time for silliness. J.H. Armstrong says, if the planets are beings, then titans and gods could absolutely be mountains, cannons, etc. Yeah, I'll go with that. Grammy Mary says, howdy, y'all. Bellstar 60 loved Jeff Hammond. How could you not? He was great. Harmon is Harmen, I believe. Second star to the right. That's funny. Robert Del Giorno. What about the Sumerian tablets? Aren't they the first Bibles? Well, that's what I was saying at the beginning, that if I was being politically correct, I'd say that the Bible borrowed heavily from the Sumerian tablets. If I was being realistic, I'd say they plagiarized the shit out of them. So yeah, there's much in the Sumerian tablets that's in the Bible because they stole it, plain and simple. Charlie E. Lay says, a wet, sloppy kiss. That's okay if you don't. It's okay if you don't. Let's see what else we got here and some great questions. We got J.H. Armstrong says a book and an audio book with Jeffrey reading. That's an idea. It just takes so long to make an audio book. So long. There's an invisible man in the clouds and he needs money. George Carlin. That's great. Gabriel Michelson says a jealous God. Joyce Caderly says Mario Bellino. No God in the Bible. Well, there is a God in the Bible, but whether it's a God or not is open to discussion. Blaine Bond says Hebrews lies. Very witty. Norseman says it's better with beer brew. Let's see. 4 foot tall with big black eyes, and he drives a spaceship, says Demented One. That's funny. Denise Quillman, gods. Absolutely. Sandra Bien, plural. Absolutely. Gabriel says English is the mathematical encoded language. Its frequency and vibration is backwards. That's interesting. That resonates. Robert Del Giorno says he learned so much from Jeff. He's given me the tools to be free. I am divine. And I like the way you put that. You've learned from me and you picked up some tools, but you're the one that used the tools and you're the one that made yourself free. Terry Electra says the goddess has been ignored. Absolutely. There's reasons for that. Unified Field, thank you for that super chat donation. I appreciate it. Robert likes him some goddesses. Don't we all? Nigel Worsley says comma, but Nigel, the problem with that is, and I know you wrote me an email, I made a big deal about that, and I know that you have a healthy self-image, so I'm not going to bust your bubble and make you cry. Maybe a little tear will kind of well up in the edge of your eye. I guess you cry from here, it'll well up in there for you, but there's no punctuation in the original language, so that comma wasn't there. So to make a big thing out of that comma is a linguistic and an exegetical mistake. So you don't want to make big things about that comma because that comma isn't there. It's added by the translators, and it really doesn't make any difference anyway. But there you go. Are we someone's high school science project? Boy, it sure seems that way, doesn't it? Sure seems that way. Cosmo Kramer's with us. One with Nature says hello. Captain Caveman's here. Unified Field, thank you again for that super chat donation. Sandra Bien, Andre Christensen, Michelle De La Rosa says this is my kind of Bible study. Bella Star 60, thank you so much for that super chat donation. Ray Up, Patriots Rise Up in the house. Let's see. Robert's watching Shark Week. I'm not, for the first time in a long time. Let's see. Andre Christensen, thank you. Tiddly Bowshanks, Tyler Day. Threes and D's worldwide. Nice to see you. Kevin Kelso, thank you for that super chat donation. I really do appreciate it. Tracy Electra, Yahweh is gone. He left the building, says Robert. I tend to think he has, but we're still dealing probably with the Tulpe Yahweh. Patriots Rise Up, good to hear. Perfect. Cosmic Cowboy prefers Isaiah. Okay, that's good. Tyler says Yahweh only has power because of the people who follow and worship it. If the truth gets out, his energy will run out and we will win. Absolutely, that's the plan. Sandra Bien, thank you for that super chat donation. Andre Christensen says, awesome, thank you. Mac Fusler killed off the inhabitants and reseeded. That's exactly what he did. Sandra Bien says, excellent. Terry Electra says, a new heaven and a new earth. See, you're starting to tie it together. I'm telling you, folks, and I'll prove it to you soon, the book of Revelation is not the last days. The book of Revelation is not the end times. The book of Revelation happened between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2, and it's woven into all of the cataclysmic stories within the book of Genesis. It all happened then, folks. You're being sold a bill of goods and a bunch of lies by all these eschatology people. They might be nice guys. They might be nice girls, but they're either delusional or they're willfully ignorant because they want to keep cashing those checks and getting those clicks and taking home that AdSense money. They're wrong, and they should know they're wrong because they're intelligent. I've read their books. I've seen their discussions. They're intelligent people. They're without excuse, especially if they watch a little bit of this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Roger Rabbit says it sounds similar to what we see today. It really does. Jamie Smedley says it's a temper tantrum, and it was. Duck City says use this other translation that has the right names for the gods. Well, I'd be open to that. I'd be open to that. Let's see what else we got. Is it possibly Atlantis or Tartaria? Possibly. Deb Chef is here. Nice to see you. Melissa Morand, nice to see you. And what else we got? My memory. You're in my memory. He's the one that reconstructed the body. Genesis is talking about a redesigning of man, and that man is to be reconstructed. Well, that's not what the text says, but hey, if that's what you see, then good on you. I like it. Fire from nostril, says Nancy. Could this be where the reptilian thing came from to be? Yeah, I think so. It does sound like a dragon. And as Robert Stanley is texting me, KT Emma, nice to see you. Kingus, nice to see you. Captain Caveman is here. I know I repeat some of them, but the Elohim created, they are the good guys. Well, at least one of them went rogue, Duck City. Have you not seen the 900-mile dragon on Africa? Andrew, no, I have not seen the 900-mile dragon on Africa. Is time speeding up? Maybe, but that's not the focus of this podcast. Was it the ghost peppers he ate? That's funny. Danny Blake is here. Sally Bowles is here. Sounds like the so-called Lord is a petty, immature, childish, selfish, narcissistic monster. Absolutely. What else we got going on here? We got Knowledge Seeker. And we have Rocker Chick in the house. Nice to see you. The Book of Revelation was a forgery and later added in. Absolutely true. Gregory of Olympus is here. Nice to see you. Benji. Is it Benji or Benji? I wonder. Norseman is here. Margarita G is here. Michelle Henneman, thank you so much. Blaine Bond, thank you so much. And I think we're Jeep Girl, New Jersey Jeep Girl. Caught the ass end of the live stream. She says, interesting spin. Come on, Jeep Girl. That ain't a spin. That's from the text. And I want to make that point. I didn't spin nothing. I read you what the text said. What I gave you is no spin. What everybody else gives you is spin. And a girl that drives around Jeep should know about spinning stuff. I get you. Thanks for being here, New Jersey Jeep Girl. And yeah, I gave you the no spin version. So there you go. Brenda Klein's here. She says goddesses have been ignored because they hold more love and wisdom than the men. See, that's the problem we got to worry. That's the problem. You have identified a problem, but I think you've allowed your emotions and ego to get involved in a solution that is not suitable for the problem and creates another problem. Unless I'm reading your comment wrong, it says, I think the goddesses have been ignored because she holds more love and wisdom than the gods. Yes and no. The goddesses have been ignored, and they do hold love and wisdom. But do they hold more love and wisdom than the gods? No. They hold different love and different wisdom. The goddesses hold feminine wisdom. The gods hold masculine wisdom. And just because the goddesses have been suppressed and oppressed, the answer to that is not to begin to oppress and suppress the masculine. Because the sacred feminine has been ignored and suppressed, the answer is not to suppress the sacred masculine. The answer is to recognize, honor, and embrace the fullness of the sacred feminine without disregarding any of the fullness of the sacred masculine. The idea is balance. We can't say the goddesses are better than the gods. We can't say the gods are better than the goddesses. It's like saying we've had a lot of prejudice in the United States against black people, so now we should be prejudiced against white people. Unless you're a Democrat, that doesn't make any sense. You see what I did with that? Sorry to get political, but it is the way it is. So Brenda, yes and no. I see where you're coming with that. Just be careful, girl. Don't let yourself get all feminist. Don't let you get your panties in a big wad, and don't get all burning your bra and that kind of stuff. Because there's a place for the sacred feminine, and it has been held down. We want to bring it up to par. We want to bring it up to level. We want to bring it up to balance. But we don't want to start putting men down. We don't want to be part of hashtag me too. How about hashtag screw you? Shut up. Do something helpful and quit being a bunch of whiny babies. Anyway, there we go. Jordan Anderson stopped by. John Fitzpatrick stopped by. Margarita G says, ha, ha, ha. Pamela Jean, balance is good. Brenda Klein, I love the way you answer comments. Thank you, because, hey, that's what we're here for. You're the most important part. Rocker Chick says, it's okay. Can I burn? If you want to burn your bras, I'll take that back. Go ahead and do it. That's a little bit of a silly joke. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. We don't want to get off the subject. God, did he destroy the earth with a spaceship? All we know is that he destroyed the earth. Did he use a spaceship? Is he a dragon? That's open to conjecture. But now we know some things that we didn't know before, and we're working for balance. We're working for harmony between all of us. I love the sacred feminine. I love the sacred masculine. Let's bring them both into par, like this YouTube channel. Let me show you something. I'm gonna brag a little bit on the way out. We're done right here. So I'm gonna brag a little bit on the way out if I can do it without showing any information YouTube doesn't want me to show. Let me just show you something that is a source of great pride for me. These new analytics suck, YouTube. Your new analytics suck it. Let me just say that to you. Your new beta dashboard sucks it, and not in a good way. They're terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Yeah, I can show you this. Look at this. I think I have a little bit of expertise in this area. I think I know a little bit of what I'm talking about when I talk about achieving a balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, Because look at this right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the subscribers to this channel of the just about 37,000 now. We're about to explode. Look at this. Of between the sexes, 51% male, 49% female. You can't get much closer to balance than that. And that is something I'm most proud of. That's something that we really strive to continue. And this is what we need to do in our world. We need to have balance between the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And with that, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. We are the last generation of real humans, and we all know that history is written by the winner. So if we don't win, ladies and gentlemen, nobody will ever know what we did. I've got a solution. Let's win, 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 so we can work together and build a better tomorrow and write the history of how these failed gods were defeated and how those that were divine, sovereign, and free took the throne and made the world a better place. What's the bottom line? The bottom line is that you are the last generation of real humans. We are the last generation of real humans, and it's time for us to get busy.